So a question that I get fairly often on this channel is whether or not I've edited a photo, and if I have edited the photo, what are the edits? Here I have an image that I took recently. You've seen it if you've watched my other videos. So because I edit every photo differently, I can't give you an exact recipe for how I edit the photos, but I can walk you through my editing process and how I make the decisions that I make when editing. So what am I using to edit? Today, I'm going to be using two things, both Lightroom, but Lightroom Mobile and Lightroom Classic on desktop. I tend to edit all my images on my phone, which I know is crazy. A lot of people don't do that. I have really good eyes. I can do it, and I find, especially with travel photography, I don't always have my laptop with me, and I'd rather edit the photo like, I just like to edit really fast. I like to get the images back fast. So it's just quicker for me to do it on my phone, but I know a lot of people use their computers, so I'll show both. So let's get right into it. Okay. The first thing I always do when editing a photo is crop it. So let's see. I'm gonna keep it at this 3x2. Just kind of see how I can edit it so that I like it. Like I can see at the bottom we have this like little wall thing here. I think composition is really important, especially in travel photography, so I always start with that. And then I also will like rotate it a little bit just so it's aligned. Okay, so like this is the crop that I would probably do for this image. Next, I go to light. Sorry, my phone is in Italian, so I apologize. So first thing that I do is I work with my light, my exposure. Typically, I'm gonna bring my exposure down. This is something I tend to just feel out. I'm gonna bring it, I'll start with bringing it right there. So like before, after, simple. Contrast really depends. For this image, I'm gonna bring it up, I think. Let's zoom in so we can like see what we're doing. I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah, I like that. Highlights. Typically, I'm gonna bring highlights down. Definitely depends on the image, but I do prefer a more flat image. Shadows, that usually depends. For this image, I'm gonna bring it up. Yes. So this is first. This is now, after messing with exposure. Now, whites and blacks, that is totally up to you depending on what your style is and like what the image is. Most of the time I leave this alone. Do I want to mess with this for this? For the sake of this image, I'm actually going to turn the whites up. And also the blacks up. Okay, so I like that right there. Next, I'm gonna go to our colors. Now, I'm gonna bring our temperature up a little bit. Not too much, because I don't want it to look like I'm in the desert or something, but just a little bit. Tint, I'm also gonna bring up. Not too much. Usually I also won't mess with tint. I do not like when photos are super tinted. Either way, but white balance can be a funny thing. But I think for this image, I like that. Saturation. Let's bring it down 4. Yes. Another thing that I really like to do is edit colors individually. So right now, the color that's like popping out to me most is this yellow, the yellow of the buildings. I don't know if I want it to be Yes. Okay, so yeah, I like that. Let's see about this green here. Actually, I'm going to turn up the green a little bit. Make it look a little more lush by adjusting the tone. Perfect. And now we're at effects. Texture and clarity, two settings that I've been kind of experimenting a little bit with in my editing. Let's just bring the texture down a little bit. Let's zoom in here so we see what we're doing. So this is the image before. Let's bring texture down. Let's bring it way down just so we can see what that would look like. Or after. We're not going to bring it down that much. We're going to bring it down a little bit. And then clarity, we're going to also bring down just a little bit. And then because I brought down clarity and texture, I will go back to my exposure and bring up the contrast just a little bit. And honestly, that is how I would edit that photo. Really simple, really easy, not doing too much. This is as close to what my eye saw as I possibly could get. The only other thing that I may adjust in this image is the sky. I do have a thing about my skies being too blue, or like too, I don't even know what the shade of blue would be, but like just too vibrant, more vibrant than what your eye would actually see. So I always make sure that especially when I'm messing with color and contrast and exposure, that I am adjusting the color of the sky. Okay, well I like that because it brings out the color of the water, but this is our sky here. Let's look at the sky before, after, yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, that is now my image. So now let's go to Lightroom Classic. So once again, the first thing I'm going to do, crop. I apologize for like the way that I use Lightroom Classic. This is not my main method of editing, so I'm not going to be I don't work with as much finesse as I normally would. Yeah, I think is it fine? Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so that's my angle right there. Let's go to basic white balance. Okay, so for this image, we're also working with a lot of colors here as well, but we also have a lot of whites. So what do I want to do with this? Do I want to bring it down? Do I want to bring it up? I actually kind of want to bring it up. So this is what we're starting with. I'm going to bring it up. Let's bring it up 5. I'm going to bring it up 5. Tint, not touching tint. I don't want to touch tint. Exposure. I really do like... Actually, I like it a little darker. Okay, so I'm going to bring the exposure down just slightly. Contrast, right now there's enough contrast for me, so I'm going to keep my contrast. Highlights. Very rarely do I bring up highlights, but there's something about this image that makes me want to. So actually we're going to do that. Yeah. We're going to bring highlights up a little bit. Shadows. I used to really love to darken my shadows, but then recently I've been really liking my shadows to be brighter. What do I like today? Today I actually kind of want my... The problem is that I love both. Like I love a dark moody image, but I also love... I'm gonna do dark moody. It's fall. This is a photo taken in like October, so let's do dark and moody. The whites we're gonna bring up a little bit to make that mountain pop. Also like this mountain up here, the white up here pop. Blacks, we are gonna fill in our blacks a little bit. Well, 58. We're gonna bring our blacks up to 58. So that's not really a little bit. Texture clarity for this image, let's leave it alone. I don't really feel like it's necessary. Tone curve. This is another one that I've been messing around a little bit more with. Let's see if this is what I want to do. So I'd put a dot around, I don't really even know what this is called, but like this first square here, I'd put a point. Let's see if I want to. Yes. Okay, so I'll do that. A lot of times when I do mess with the tone curve, I don't even know if that's a tone curve or if that's called something else. I'll have to like write it. It might not be. But if I do mess with this line, I'll go back into my exposure, maybe bring up contrast a little bit, maybe. For this image, I will. Because I just think it looks good. Color. Okay, for color, I kind of like what's going on with the colors. Another big thing is not over editing. You do not need to do too much with your editing. It's best to keep it, oh, I was like, what am I even editing here? Oh. Okay, so we can change. I kind of actually do like that because it's a little more, it's like a red, but I can turn it more orange, which I think I'm gonna do because it matches the other orange in the images. So just turn the red up 13, orange, I'm not messing with orange. Orange is being 0. Orange I'm gonna keep the same. Yellow I'm probably gonna keep the same. Greens I'm gonna bring down a little bit. When it gets to the saturation of the green, I'm gonna end up toning that up. Blues, I'm okay with the blue. Everything else I'm okay with. So let's go to color saturation. I'll probably bring it up about there. The blue, let's look at the sky. Well, this looks like Winter Wonderland, which honestly that is kind of nice. That's obviously not what the image looked like in real life. That's not what the sky looked like, but if you did want to make it look really wintry, then you could do that. But I'm going to turn down the blue, but still keep a little bit of the blue. A lot of times, luminance I won't touch either. I don't really feel the need to like do anything with that. Could I sharpen it? I could sharpen it. Okay, I'll sharpen it. What the heck? Okay. That is my image. So I hope with this tutorial you're kind of able to see why I make the editing decisions that I make. I really do value a natural looking image, and I think that's why for so many people, when they see my images, they don't really know if I've edited it or not because it looks really natural. For me, when it comes to travel photography, that is what I value. I value it looking natural. I value it looking exactly how my eyes saw it. And I find that when I start getting too carried away with the editing, it's just too much. It's just too much for me. And so if you really like a highly edited image where you mess with all the colors and make the greens purple and whatever, that's great. But if you're someone who really likes a natural looking image, then this is how I would go about beginning your editing process, creative flow. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video.